Morning. So it is Sunday, April 16th. I just got off of work on the ambulance 2 hours late because my relief just didn't show up for whatever reason, but that's besides the point. I work the lunch shift today at Twin Peaks, so about 10:30 to 4:30, unless I get cut sooner, which I'm not planning on, but could happen. It's 7:37 and I planned on getting up at 8:45. So had I gotten home on time, I could have slept for almost 3 hours, but now there's really no point. So I think I'm gonna jump in the shower, shave, and then just sit around until it's time to get ready, because I will be more tired if I go to sleep for an hour than I would if I just stay up. I didn't sleep good last night. We didn't get any calls, but my stomach was upset and I couldn't sleep, so I got 2 hours, my watch said. But I don't think I really got any good sleep until 4 a.m. and I got up at 4:45. And my relief got there at 7. So I just wanted to go ahead and start a weekly vlog. I tried to start one last week and then I worked a bunch of doubles, so I wasn't reading at all because I was working all day. But this week I work a couple mornings and then I'm off, so I should have time to read. Who knows? I currently have approximately 5 hours and 20 minutes left of my War of Two Queens audiobook, and the only reason I got the audiobook is because I was just taking too long to read the physical book and I was wanting to do other stuff instead of read. So I just decided to get the audiobook so I can listen while I do the other stuff, and like cross-stitching and stuff like that. I don't know what percentage that is. I'm on chapter 32. If I wasn't listening on 1.75 times speed, I would have 9 hours and 20 minutes left. So I think I'm probably like 60-ish% into the book. I listened to a lot yesterday and the day before that, but we'll see how much I listen to today. On my way home this morning, I really didn't feel like listening to my audiobook because I was just kind of upset because I didn't get to come home and sleep like I wanted to. So I just watched a vlog, but I think I will listen while I get ready for work and see how much more that I can get read. Otherwise, I think that I'm going to put down God of Wrath or whatever it was called, or God of Malice, because I'm just not into it right now, honestly, and I'm not feeling like finishing it. So that's gonna be a DNF for the time being. And then I finally finished The Last Wife. I finally finished that. I listened to it on audiobook. I gave it 2 stars. There wasn't really any like plot twist in it. It was supposed to be a thriller, I think, and well, I'm almost positive it was. And it just wasn't, I don't know. It could have been better. So I'm trying to be more honest with my book reviews now instead of just giving everything a 5-star or 4-star or 3-star or whatever. Later on today, I will kind of get a TBR together for the next week or so. I know that next I want to start Red Rising because I've been wanting to read it for a long time. And I think what I'm going to do, which is what I usually do, is I read a physical book, usually fantasy. I listen to a thriller on audiobook, and then I have an ebook that's usually a like romance. So maybe I will kind of plan out what else I'm going to do this week. But anyways, this is getting entirely too long, but I just wanted to give you a little update since it's been a while. Okay, so I am home from my shift. Today is Monday the 17th. It is 3 p.m. I was ranked second today, so I was able to be cut early. And since I've been working last week and I've always been at the bottom of the ranking because I was new, I decided to take advantage of it and be able to come home. I have 2 hours and 22 minutes left of my audiobook for The War of Two Queens, so I'm gonna try to finish that. Well, I know I'm gonna finish it today, but I'm gonna try to finish it ASAP because I'm really excited to finish it, and I'm also really excited to finish it because now I get to move on to probably Red Rising. But once I finish, I will figure out my TBR for the rest of this video and give you all a little update. So I'll see you in a little bit. So I just finished The War of Two Queens, and I have quite a bit to say about this. So just a little heads up, there's going to be spoilers for From Blood and Ash, probably the entire series. So if you've not read it or you haven't finished it, I would just go ahead and skip forward. I'll put a timestamp, but I got some important things to say. So I wanted to talk about this while it's still fresh on my mind. And I listened to the audiobook, so I probably missed a few details here and there and didn't get the full, like, emotional experience from it that I would have gotten if I had read it physically, but that's besides the point. So, okay, right before I did this, I went and looked on Goodreads to, like, see the overall reviews, and people were losing their mind, like, absolutely losing their mind over shit, and I disagree for the most part. So The Joining, I was very excited for. Okay, I've been waiting for that since the second book or whenever it was brought up, because I love Kieran. He's like one of my favorite characters. I love Cass. I love Poppy. Like, nothing better to me could have happened but that. I've literally been dying for it to happen. Okay, so to me, that didn't bother me. I understand a lot of people say that Poppy was emotionally cheating on Castile while he was captured, and that Poppy and Kieran are like brother and sister, so it shouldn't happen. Ugh. I disagree. And it's okay if you believe that, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I've been excited for it. I've been looking forward to it. And it was one of my favorite parts of the book. It is what it is. So that's really, besides it also just being another long-winded book, just like the rest have, where there's like nothing going on for majority of the book, and then it builds up, and then, you know, there's plot twist at the end or whatever. The end of this book to me wasn't very climactic, I guess. Like, the battle part was when all the like guards or whatever came out, but otherwise after that I kind of, I don't want to say lost interest, it wasn't keeping me on the edge of my seat, I guess. And like I said, I listened to this on audiobook, and it might have been different if I had read it physically, but the only other part that I liked at the end of this was when she killed the Blood Queen. I did get upset when Delano died or whatever, but I kind of had it in the back of my mind that she would end up bringing them back, because it's been such a big point throughout the rest of the books that she can't bring back someone of two worlds, like the Draken or the Wolven. So it was just made such a point that I figured it would probably happen this time. If it was going to happen at any point, it would happen after this huge battle and all these gods are involved and whatever, and it happened. And then every book for like the last 3 books, we have added another title to Poppy's name, like she was the Maiden, and then she was half Atlantean, and then she was full Atlantean, and then we find out that she's a god, and then now she is a primal, or the primal, or whatever, of life and death and blah blah. And to me, that's just like, I personally feel, and I guess it kind of comes with these types of stories, but anywho, I personally feel like the I'm the most powerful trope is so popular. Like, it's almost like every book they have to be the most powerful, and that's what the story revolves around, I guess. And it's just like, I don't know. Can they be ordinary or just a little bit extraordinary? Like, why do they have to be the most powerful? Not that I'm saying that anybody else should take that role, but I just feel like I was not surprised that that ended up happening. And it's just not exciting, personally. I still gave this book, I gave it 4 stars. I may give it 3. It's not that I hated it. And once again, I listened to it on audiobook, so I don't know if that impacted it differently. But the rest of the book, besides the ending, was great. It was just the ending that was so anticlimactic for me that brought my ratings down. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to continue with the series because more stuff is going to happen, but I just am a little bit disappointed with how the end of the book finished, if that makes any sense. So those are my thoughts on that book. I am glad that I finished it and can now move on to something else. I just get so tired out with series in general. It's not just this one specifically, but I used to stick to one series a year because that's all I could really handle. One year it was Harry Potter, or the first year it was The Mortal Instruments, and then it was Harry Potter. Then it was Throne of Glass, and then this year was just going to be ACOTAR, but so far I've already read, was it this year? No. Last year. So, then it was Throne of Glass. Last year was supposed to just be ACOTAR, and I read ACOTAR and Crescent City, and technically the Mindfuck series, but that is a very short series in comparison, so that really wasn't that bad. And then at the end of the year, I read the Ravenhood series. So, which Harry Potter, or The Mortal Instruments, Harry Potter, and Throne of Glass all had like 6 to 7 books, so that's why it was so difficult for me, because they all get progressively longer, so that's why I stuck to like one series a year. And then I have always loved Sarah J Maas, so I just binged all of her stuff. But I really, really liked the first book specifically in this series. I've given 5 stars too. I think the second book I gave 5 stars, and then the third book I gave 4 stars, and now I think we're going down a little more. I think I'm going to put it at 3. I can't commit fully to giving it 4 stars. So honestly, like if I could rate it not on Goodreads, it would probably be 3.5. Just, I don't know. I'm not excited for the next book like I am usually whenever I read a series. I also, besides ACOTAR and Crescent City, this is my first book series that I've read up to the point of that have been released, and I'm actually waiting on more books. Most of the series I've read before, they're all finished, so I guess I just thought I would have more of a response to not having the next book yet. So, anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Now I need to make my TBR for what I'm doing next, and then I will get back to you. So I went on one of my, I'm on a smut Facebook page to see if I could get recommendations, because I enjoyed the joining scene so much and I wanted something similar. So I was looking, and then I remembered I've screenshotted several things. And then I ended up just searching on the page because I have to wait for my post to be approved and then have people comment on it. So I searched on the page for what I was looking for, and I found a recommendation called Kiss of Smoke, and it's a trilogy, and they're super short. So I think that that's what I'm going to do for my ebook. I just I just canceled my Kindle Unlimited subscription because I wasn't using it because I was in school. But since I'm starting to read again and will probably use my Kindle Unlimited, I may end up getting it back. I clicked the read for free button and it downloaded, so I don't know. I guess it's going to probably go throughout the end of the month or whenever it was effective through, so there's that. So that makes my physical book, Red Rising, my ebook is Kiss of Smoke, and then my audiobook I chose The Housemaid. And I've been trying to listen to this for so long, but I cannot get it at any of my libraries on Libby. So I did a trial on Audible for The War of Two Queens, and it gave me 2 credits, and since I still have 1 left, I'm going to go ahead and use it to listen to The Housemaid while I still have my free trial available, because once I'm done, I'm canceling it because paying for Audible makes no sense to me. Honestly, I looked at the payment plans, and it doesn't make sense, because I can listen to an audiobook in a day or 2 if I'm not doing anything besides listening to it, so it just doesn't make any sense to me for you to pay for 2 credits a month. I don't know. Anywho, so that is the plan for the next week or so. My plan for these videos are to do Sunday to Sunday. So I have a double tomorrow, which means I can probably really only listen to my audiobook while I get ready and while I'm on my way to work. And then at work I can read generally when I don't have tables or kind of in between tables. So we'll have to see. The evenings are usually more busy than the mornings are, but my morning this morning was not busy at all. So if I get a chance to read, then I'll either read Red Rising or my Kiss of Smoke book. I don't know if I want to read that around a bunch of girls that are going to ask what I'm reading and try to read it. So we'll just have to see. But I shouldn't have any issues. I have the double tomorrow. Then I go to the beach Wednesday with my friends, so there will not be any reading that day besides in the morning maybe. Then I work Thursday morning, I'm off Thursday evening, I'm off Friday, I'm off Saturday, and then I work again Sunday morning. So I should be able to handle it depending on how dedicated I am. But since I've been dying to get my book channel up and going, I am motivated. So I have not decided what I'm going to do yet. I have to rewatch one of the videos I've edited just to make sure it's good to upload, create my thumbnail, and then post it. And then I know at some point tonight I'm going to take a bath and start Red Rising, I believe. I may or may not check in with you again tonight. And if I do not, then I will see you probably Wednesday. Okay, so it's Thursday the 20th. I've done a little bit of reading since I last talked to y'all, but not very much. I'm about to get a tattoo. This is Colby, my brother. He's gonna be, what's the word, touching up this one, which is on another one of my videos that's already posted from several months ago, and then I'm getting another one which will be a surprise. But I'm maybe going to be reading during this. I have no idea. So I just wanted to let y'all know I have 2 hours and 44 minutes left on The Housemaid. And it's going okay. It's still pretty predictable, and I don't know what the end goal or the point of it's going to be, but whatever. Then I made it to chapter 3 in Red Rising. Read that in the bath the other day, but I started falling asleep, so I had to get out and not drown. And then I am 20% through Kiss of Smoke, and not much has happened yet besides the dirty. So that's that. I'm still like way behind what I originally planned, but honestly, instead of setting deadlines, I think I'm just gonna keep the reading vlog going until I finish the books that I planned for the reading vlog, or stop planning so much when I know that I can't finish, you know? So that is the plan. I'm gonna put in some video footage if I can of my tattoos, and then I will update y'all later. Okay guys, so it's Sunday evening. Why did I say Thursday? It is Sunday evening. I finished my audiobook of The Housemaid today and have made a little bit of progress into Kiss of Smoke. I tried to read while I was at work today, but we had a pretty busy day. I read during my tattoo this afternoon, but I've just been taking it really slow for whatever reason. So I am 55% through with that. I've decided that I think I'm just going to do the vlog until I either finish the books, or I'll go ahead and cut it off like in the morning and just post whatever I have. So yeah. Alright, so it's Monday morning. I just dropped my brother back off with my mom. I apologize for my cat playing in the background. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I did not finish Kiss of Smoke last night just because I got tired, and that's really the only excuse that I have. I am 64% of the way through. I have about an hour and a half left of reading. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go take a shower and maybe do some reading sprints to try to finish this up before my doctor's appointment that I have at 2. It's 9:30 right now. So if I start reading at 10, I will have plenty of time left afterwards. But I do want to finish it before I end this video, just so that way I feel some sort of accomplishment. Yeah, I have about 75 pages left, so that won't be too difficult to do. And then I don't know what I'm going to do tonight, but I guess I'll start over a new reading vlog this afternoon. Hopefully I can get these posted weekly-ish if I'm still reading enough and all that. I literally talk about this every time I make a video, but anywho. I'm gonna take a shower, read my book, and I will let y'all know when I'm finished. All right, so I finally finished my read through of Kiss of Smoke, and I would give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's not, I always say this, it's not the worst thing I've ever read, but it's not the best thing I ever read. So I did keep a couple notes to kind of discuss with y'all at the end, so this may or may not have spoilers, so just keep that in mind if you're wanting to read Kiss of Smoke. So the first thing that really stood out to me is the fact that the author is super focused on the Scottish accents, which I get. Like, we all go through an Outlander phase, and I mean, I never technically got out of mine, but she even specifically mentioned that one of them looked like Sam Heughan, which is totally fine. Love him. But, like, the guys would have dialogue, and then in italics, she would like repeat what they said, but like specify, or like it would be spelled with the accent, or what it would sound like with the accent. And it was just like so overused. Like, we know they're in Scotland, we know they're Scottish, we know they have accents, and it just was frequent. And I guess like a lot of people like accents and, you know, whatever, but I don't know, it just felt overused to me. But it wasn't something that completely took away from the story. It's just something that bothered me. Overall, all of the smut scenes were decent. There were a couple where I was reading the words and was not comprehending everything that was going on just because they were mediocre. But not every scene can be this giant 50 Shades of Grey situation. So I overall enjoyed the smut, although this is a spoiler, the claiming scene at the end was very underwhelming. My dog's coming. Freya's gonna join us. The claiming scene at the end was just very underwhelming. Like, you wait the entire book leading up to it, and then it was disappointing. Like, it briefly mentioned what had to take place for the claiming, and it happened, and then it was done. And that was the end. And it was in the epilogue. What if people don't read epilogues? Like, they would miss that whole thing. So I guess compared to War of Two Queens and the joining scene, I definitely liked that scene better than this one. But I think she was just trying to wrap up the book, so it is what it is. But also, I went and looked into her other books in this series, and I do not think that they're the same characters, which upsets me because honestly, I gave this a 3 stars because I would continue to read the series. It's not something that I would put on my top 10 favorite series of ever list, but I would continue to read it. But now that I know, or I think that it's not the same characters, I don't know if I'm going to continue on with the series. Also, another spoiler, the pregnancy trope. It's not my like least favorite trope, but I was catching little tidbits here and there where she would get nauseous and they said, oh, you're just not acclimated to this yet, like it's just you being a human. But it was in the morning specifically, and so I was like, surely not, surely so. And so there's a scene where like after they do the she's bleeding and they take her to the hospital, they find out she's pregnant, and they're thinking, what are we gonna do? Like, this isn't their baby, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They don't have to determine what they're gonna do because it's not viable. And of course it's not viable because, like, that whole part could have been skipped and the story could have been the same, but I just didn't see why it was necessary to throw that in there, especially because it wasn't viable. I guess, like, so that they could use their healing powers, their healing tears or whatever on her. But overall, I just feel like that part could be left out, you know? And then, of course, I spoke about this earlier in this video about A War of Two Queens. Of course, she's powerful, and of course, she's not just a human. Like, that I didn't expect. I thought maybe because it mentioned like her dad dying or something. But of course, in this one super important scene where she's getting kidnapped and yada yada, turns out she has powers and she's a super rare being that can draw power from other people and stuff. And then like it goes into that and she starts asking questions. about it, so you don't really know much about that, and then the book ends. So that's why I gotta know if they're in the next ones. Maybe I should. I don't like reading the synopses of books because I like to just go into it as a surprise. And so maybe I'll actually read the whole synopsis for the next one just to be sure, because if it is about them, I will continue. And if it's not, I just won't. But overall, I feel like it was a good length. It was only almost 200 pages. It was like 190 pages, which I feel like is good, especially because there was like some sort of plot underneath it. Like there was a reason they were in Scotland. There was a reason she was with them. There's a reason she didn't need to go back home and stuff like that. So at least there was that. But anything over 200, I would have felt like was too much unless she had actually gotten kidnapped by the vampire. And then I could see it continuing on past that. But I just feel like overall it was a good length for what it was. I didn't hate the plot. I didn't hate the story. The smut scenes were good. So like I said, 3 stars. And I'll have to keep you updated on if I continue the series or not. But anyways, guys, that is going to conclude my first-ish reading vlog. And I hope y'all enjoyed. I finished 3 books in the last week, which is very exciting. That's probably the most in a while. So I'm going to continue on with this pace, hopefully, and be able to give y'all more content. I did film today while I was reading my last little bit of Kiss of Smoke. I filmed like a real-time reading sprints type of video, so I'll have that posted later this week or maybe next week, depending. And yeah, so as always, if you have any recommendations for books or video ideas, please leave them down below in the comments. Today's emoji, if you've made it through this entire video, is a dragon. And I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.